All right, so this program is going to, or this video is going to cover the 2010 AP free response question number 1. So it says an organization raises money by selling boxes of cookies. A cookie order specifies the variety of cookie and the number of boxes ordered. The declaration of the cookie order class is shown. So you've got a cookie order that has a variety passed in and a number of boxes. So you can get the variety and get num boxes. You know, it says there may be instance variables, constructors, and methods that are not shown. To make it more realistic, they should have thrown in like an order number or whatever that would link to because each of these orders would have an order number, and that's how you would identify it. I don't know. To me, that would have helped, but whatever. I didn't create the problem. Because basically, you're going to have an array list of cookie orders, and each array list is only going to know the variety and the number of boxes that are ordered. To me, an order number would then, I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. I'm being nitpicky. Okay, the master order class maintains a list of the cookies to be purchased. The declaration of the master order class is shown below. See, this is where your orders array list comes from. The master order constructs all the orders. You can add to the order. Here, return the sum of the number of boxes of all the cookie orders. Okay, so this one's pretty easy. All we're going to do is just run through, and your orders will just call the number of boxes within each array list. So yeah, that one's about as easy as it gets. So B, it says remove all cookie orders from the master list that have the same variety of cookie variable. Returns the total number of boxes that were removed. That's a bit harder. Alright, so let's see here. Part A. Get the total number. Okay, cool. So I plugged each of these in here. So for part A, since we're not doing anything with any index positions, you would have to use a for each loop. So, the College Board wants you to use a for each loop every time you can, and when you're not dealing with an index position that you need, you must use the for each loop, or you could possibly lose the points. Okay, so so I don't know, int how much we're adding up the total, I don't know, int total boxes is equal to 0. And then we do for we want to do a for each, so for what? Our array list object is called cookie order, or class, so cookie order, and we'll just call it order through the orders because orders is the object and CookieOrder is the class. So CookieOrder and order acts as our placeholder. So then all we do then is just take our total boxes plus equals what? Order dot, and then we've got to get the number of boxes. So get num boxes. And so those all get added up, and then we got to what? Return. Don't forget to do this. I should have done this at the beginning. Return total boxes. So that might be like a good, you know, strategy where you create your, you know, your variable and then you return it, because that's really easy. That's what it's supposed to do. It says return the sum of the number of boxes of all the cookie orders. And so let's see how they grade this thing. Consider all cookie order, access any element, create an accumulator, invoke that, correctly accumulate, return computed total. So to me, you would have gotten a half point just by doing this part right here. So now then you get your full point by, you know, you access the order using your for loop. You access all orders by not having an index out of bounds, and then you accumulate all orders. So consider all cookie order. So access any elements. We did that. Access all with no out of bounds. You guarantee yourself to do that with a for each loop. Create accumulator. Oop, no, the accumulator, the total boxes, that would have gave us a half a point, and that would have gave us a half a point. So this whole thing is 3 points for part A. And we would have gotten a point just by declaring our variable and then returning it. But then we also get the number of boxes, and then we correctly accumulate them. So, but again, like I stress, this to me is easy. You guys should all get all points on this one. But if you screw up and don't know how to do this, you know, at least you should get a point here and a point here. You know, 1 out of 3 is better than 0. So don't ever leave anything blank. Okay. This one, though, is harder. It says removes all the cookie orders from the master order that have the same variety of cookie as your cookie variable and returns the total number of boxes that were removed. All right, so you're definitely dealing with an index position here, so you need to use a loop, and the for each loop is not going to cut it this time because you might be able to finagle it, but I don't know. So let's also think about this real quick. We don't want to run in. This is where kids are going to have problems on this one. Let's say that we have chocolate chip, peanut butter, and an oatmeal master order. Okay, so this is index 0, index 1, and index 2. Now remember, so the string cookie variable, you want to be able this is a string, so let's say this is chocolate chip. You want to be able to remove the chocolate chip from the orders, and you want to remove all instances of chocolate chip, okay? So let's say we had chocolate chip here as well. Now, the way, think about a for loop. I don't think we should use a for loop here. Let's think about this. So a for loop would be int I equals 0. I is less than this dot orders dot size. I plus plus. So let's say we're going to have an if statement inside here somehow to remove this. But let's say that cookie order is equal to chocolate chip, so we remove it, right? So that gets removed. Let's do this. This will make more sense. If I did... So let's say first time through cookie var is equal to, we are going to what, get the variety somehow, get the variety right here, which would return the name of the cookie order, which would be chocolate chip in this case in the array orders. So we're going to remove this one. So we remove that. Okay. Our orders automatically gets updated and everything gets pushed over to the left. So now this is in position 0, this is in position 1, this is in position 2. Okay, no problem. But then what happens is 1 gets added to I, and now you're in index position 1, and you're comparing your cookie variety order, which is chocolate chip, to peanut butter, and then to oatmeal, and we never remove that. That would be an easy error to make. So instead, the way that we're going to fix that, we're going to use a while loop. And this will make sense here in a minute. So we'll say int tote boxes removed, and then we're going to say, like I said, we're going to use a while loop. So I'm going to say I equals 0 up here, and then we'll say while I while I is less than this dot orders dot size. And we'll do if the cookie var, which is the name, string, whatever, dot equals if it equals this dot orders dot get, what's that, position I, dot get variety, because remember, get variety is up here. Yep, get variety, and it returns the variety that is in the orders. So if we do that, so then we can do this. Actually, no, what is this doing? It's not removing it, it's getting the total number of boxes in there, right? Removes all, well, it does remove it. Removes all the cookie orders from the master the total number of boxes, okay, to be removed. So then we got to say, we got to total up our boxes. Total boxes removed plus equals this dot orders dot get at position I dot, so get num boxes. Get num boxes. And this, now we're removing it, orders dot remove. So the reason why you can't do a for each loop, because remember, order in this one right here is just the placeholder that you're currently in. You might be able to finagle this, but I wouldn't risk it. I would just know that, you know, if you're not worrying about an index, then do a for each loop. If you're using a lot of index positions, then use like a for or a while loop. And I explain why not to do the for loop, the normal for loop right here, because watch this, we're going to remove it. And then we're not going to add 1 to I. So like if we remove what's at position 0, this gets bumped down, remember, and then we'll go back up and do it again. But if it doesn't exist and it's not removed, that's when we can do I plus plus and go to the next one. Okay? So we want to make sure we're staying on 0. If, you know, if all of them are cookie order, then we don't want to do every other one. We want to do the position 0 and then it gets bumped down, and we want to check position 0 again to see if this cookie var is the same as what's in the order. So and then what do we have here? Then we got to return something, right? Because isn't it we're returning the number of total boxes? So then don't forget that. Return tote boxes removed. Is that what I called it? Tote boxes removed. That's, yeah, it should be good. So then let's go and check the grading on this one. So identifying removes matching cookie, or so you need to access all elements. So we did that with a for loop. Compares, that's our if statement. We compare the cookie var with the get variety. Compare parameter with, okay, so that's just comparing one. This is comparing all. Comparing all cookie order objects. No out of bounds, so we did that. Remove an element, so we removed one element. Remove only matching, we did that. Remove all, so we did that. Create an accumulator, that we declared that. There's our, so again, like if we didn't do, you know, if you completely don't know what you're doing, and that needs to be 0, and you didn't do any of this, at least you could declare it and return it and get at least 1 point. Invoke get num boxes. So, you know, that's where we invoked all the get num boxes. Correctly accumulate num boxes, yep. So you're not going to have something like this on the test that tells you what the grading system's going to look like. They come up with this after you guys turn in your AP tests. And so it would be nice to have a rubric like this to go off of, but you're not going to have that on your test. But it is good to look at rubrics from the past to see what they're looking for and what strategies you guys can use to get the most possible points, okay? So you're kind of seeing it, you know, you declare your variables, you return your variables. You've got to access at least one of the elements in the array list, and you do that. Well, you could just have, without the while loop, you could just say something like this, and that would access one of them. But using the loop would access all of them. So, and without an index out of bounds. So, you know that's what they're looking for. They want you to access all the elements in your array lists or arrays or strings without getting an index out of bounds. You know, so there's a few things that you guys can do and focus on to get at least a few of the points. And these are just good AP testing strategies right here that, you know, you should be keying on to. So anyway, that's all I have for you for this video. So it's done.